it's Marissa. Today I'm very excited to be joined by my first ever guest on the channel, Michelle Meier. She also works at Think Hallmark and is my cousin as well. So Michelle, if you can just tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I've been working in real estate for 7 years. I started my career working under teams, and then eventually I made my way into solo agent status, I guess, the last few years. So it's been great.
Nice. And today we are talking about how much you actually make as a real estate agent. Sometimes people think you can make bank right off the bat, which you can if you work hard, but there is some kind of hard truth that comes with it and some behind the scenes information that not everybody knows. So we are here to share all the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need to be aware of are commission splits, and this is usually a percentage. It can vary amongst brokerages and usually start at a smaller split and can work your way up to a larger split. So what kind of experiences have you had with commission splits?
Oh man, they go all across the board. So pretty much once you have seniority in the company a little bit, been there maybe 3-4 years, you have like a commission split that seems like less awful. No. I worked at a team or on 3 different teams throughout the years, and the commission split was always 50-50 or less, and that's out of your commission. So you split 50-50 with your team leader, and basically at the end of the day you look at the entire sum of the transaction, and you're the one who made the least amount of money. So even working your tail off, taking leads, all that stuff, you're going to be paying someone else 50% of the money you make, which is kind of just like a kick in the teeth. But if you are getting leads from them, that's a lot more fair. But if you're working your own personal leads and stuff, you might as well just like be your own personal agent. And then at other brokerages, you could start at like 60%, work your way up to 80%, and then there's also the whole capping thing as well. So we like that.
So commission splits, that's something that you're going to want to ask your brokerage when you're interviewing them. Sometimes they can be based on sides, so like one seller side, one buyer side, that would be 2 sides, or based on transactions. Have you ever seen them done like based on volume, or is that not as typical?
It's volume based on how much you bring into the brokerage as well. So we do sides sometimes at brokerages, and then other times it's based on volume. So you make your brokerage 20 grand, and then they don't take any money from you for the rest of the year. So that's kind of a new program that has been introduced probably in the last, like, I don't know, several years as an option for agents. So it's really nice to see that full commission being taken out, even though you do have to worry about taxes as well off of that amount. So.
And we're getting to all of that, but shall we do an example? Let's say you sell a house for $200,000, okay? What should our split be? Yeah, sure. As the buyer's agent. So we'll just say, for example, that we're going to take out 2% of that, and that would be $4,000. So you're at $4,000 before any splits.
That's gross commission.
Yes, correct. So I guess let's say you have like a 70% split. So 70% you get to keep, 30% the brokerage takes. So then I would multiply that 40,000. I wish. Multiply that 4,000 by 70%, and then you would take home $2,800. But you don't stop there, because we also have taxes. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we save for taxes, our process, a little bit later. But let's talk about the capping process, like we were kind of just getting into. As Michelle said, it can be, once the brokerage has taken a certain amount from you, it can be measured in different ways, but capping essentially allows you to keep 100% of your commissions for the rest of the year, typically, from your brokerage. So, you have anything to add on that?
Sometimes it's your January, December, sometimes it's May to May, you know, at different places. So it all just depends on what you agree with your broker and what they're offering. So
definitely important to track your commissions and see just how close you are to that number, and just make sure you're keeping track of everything so you can see kind of where you stand.
Let's talk about taxes. So at the beginning of my career, I was a W-2 employee half the time and 1099 for the other half of the time. So I was able to write off some things. It just didn't really make sense at that point. I still was using like TurboTax online because that's what Mom used. And, but then the last few years I have been just like literally paying someone because he's gotten shown me a lot of different programs that are beneficial for people who own their own business. So there's a lot of different things that tax professionals can show you in that way as well that you're not going to know as a real estate professional. But he also points out different ways to write things off. So for example, we can write off our mileage or actual costs for what we use for real estate, and anything we print out, any office materials we buy, anything that you put towards your career in any way, you could write that in there, and then it takes different percentages off depending on what it is. So for example, meals, they'll take 50% off as a write-off, or if it's real estate related.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those are all really great ways to offset the taxes, because you are using all of that money on behalf of your business.
So I would definitely recommend getting a tax professional. My first year, I had probably a few months of the year where I was working as a W-2 employee and I was getting paid hourly, and then I also did some freelance work that was paid through my broker, and then I had commissions, and I was like, I'm not gonna try and deal with this on my own. So I hired somebody, and full disclosure, it cost me like $100 for her to do my taxes in probably like 20 minutes. Like, it was so worth it. And then she was like, you can write that off too. I'm like, great, this is awesome. So I definitely would recommend that. It is worth it, especially looking at all of the deductions. It's just so much easier to have somebody deal with those for you. And then like, if you have the correct deductions or if something is not a deduction, they can tell you that and give you advice on your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then they also carry the liability in case anything doesn't line up correctly.
True.
They're of course going to want to see receipts and stuff to verify the legitimacy of all your taxes, and that's great. Then they are keeping us all safe from being audited, so we love that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really not a good idea to just kind of guess what you're doing with taxes.
Yeah.
So.
You definitely need to keep receipts. Even if you're like, I don't know if this is a deduction, you have to keep those receipts. I also use Google Sheets just to track my business expenses, and I have like a running total at the top that just keeps like a sum of everything. I have them broken up between like office supplies, mileage, cell phone fees, clients' gifts, and then I also have a column that says receipt ? And then I put no, and I highlight it so I know that I need to go back later and look for it. And a lot of this stuff you can find like in your online banking too as well. So I just print off like the records for the entire year with some of that stuff that I maybe don't have receipts for because it was like an online purchase or something like that. But how much would you say that you set aside for taxes? Like when you get a commission check, let's say it's for like $3,000, like how much are you setting aside from that?
Well, my tax guy has me paying in quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
I never realized that before owning my own business that you're supposed to pay in quarterly the year that you're getting the income.
Yeah.
So I got lots and lots of fees for not doing that. So that's supposed to like try to meet the tax amount that you're supposed to pay just ahead of time so that you have less to pay in at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Kind of as you go.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of like, you can do it that way. Otherwise, like,
Right.
I don't know, at the end of the year, I do have all of the information from all the credit cards and everything. So I literally go through line by line and make sure I have every little real estate expense recorded, so that I'm not missing out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and along with this, like, I track my income in Google Sheets and I track my expenses in Google Sheets, and so that way I can kind of see where I'm at. I have like a savings account in my online banking that I can check every once in a while, and once I got the total amount of my business expenses, I just minus that from my income so far for the year, and then I take like 30% of that to find out like how much am I probably going to owe in taxes. I personally do it like all at the end of the year, and I know quarterly is an option as well. So it's kind of nice that we have like both perspectives of that.
Oh yeah. I wish they didn't give me fees quarterly. That'd be neat.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about commission splits, capping, taxes. Why don't we talk about office fees? So this is another question. These are going to be a lot of questions that you can also ask in your interview with brokerages. But office fees, like sometimes there's a desk fee. If you want to have a desk there or a cubicle there, you might need to pay an extra fee. Sometimes they have it if your transaction closes, then you pay a fee based upon that. So it's only if you're really closing deals. Most of the time, I feel like it is a monthly fee. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And it's probably less than, like you said, $200. You thinking?
Yeah. Usually they're in the range of like $100 to $200. They're gonna cover your errors and omissions, so E&O insurance, which is a lot of your business things that are real estate related. Your brokerage has special insurance for that. Showing time, so our third party showing scheduling software. There's different MLS fees, things like that, that are wrapped into that cost. Anytime you use like a third party software with your brokerage, like a CRM as well, those can be things that are a part of that fee.
Yeah. I forget what else I was going to say. I had something rolling in my head when you were talking, and then I was like, lost it. It's gone.
Well,
yeah, I feel like every brokerage does it differently, so you just kind of have to ask. There is no one set way, and if you find that one way works a little bit better for you, like you'd rather pay for each closing rather than monthly, then you can plan accordingly for which brokerage that you are going to be with. So next we can talk about retirement and insurance a little bit. I luckily am still on my parents' insurance, so I'm going to milk that as long as I can. But Michelle has some input on insurance, so if you want to kind of share your personal experience with everything.
Since I'm older than 26, I had to get my own insurance. Realtor, like NAR, National Association of Realtors, does offer different discounts for insurance, dental, office supplies, a whole bunch of stuff. I ended up going through just healthcare.gov. You can also hire an independent insurance agent to help you find health insurance that works for you as well. But it's all income based, and if you have any adjustments and everything, you get supplemented that money back if you don't match what you made the previous year. And so I've actually gotten money back from my insurance payments on that. But other than that, I've had just fine care from third-party insurance.
Nice, a good experience. That's good to hear.
Yeah. We have also, there's life insurance too, which is kind of a different thing along with investments. So I did get life insurance as well, and then I have money going in towards that. I also have a Roth IRA that I've been investing my money into since we don't have 401ks or retirement plans or anything as a real estate agent, so we kind of have to set that up separately. I did Roth because I wanted to pay the taxes up front so that when I wanted to take them out, I could just have money free and clear. So live those old days to the fullest.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of things. It's like, it's great. Like when you need a day off, like you just take a day off. Like you don't really have to ask anybody, but you're not going to get sick pay. You're not going to get any vacation or anything like that, any holiday pay.
I sold houses on Easter, Christmas, like it's ridiculous.
So you have to be prepared for that.
It's just a crazy schedule.
Yeah, retirement as well. I mean, it can be a very rewarding career, but I feel like a lot of people forget to save, put money aside for taxes, put money aside for retirement, and even kind of same with insurance. Forget to do those things, and then it kind of gets you in the long run. So don't forget to do those things. I remembered what I was going to say earlier. It was the Realtor Fees. So we have to be part of our local board and association. So those fees can be nearly $1,000 every year. Yep. It's usually probably $600 to $1,000, I would say. And like you said, every year. So you kind of have to budget for that. That is a large chunk of money. And then you're also going to have every 2 years to renew your license. And I think that's like $75 right now.
Per course? CEs
you have your courses too.
Yeah.
That's another beast.
Continued ed courses are every 2 years as well. So
yes, like 6 courses. Some people travel for those as well. Otherwise, you can do them online or in person. Personally, mine cost me like $126 for the 6 courses this year.
Exactly.
Exactly. I remember that because I was just talking to somebody about it the other day. So exactly $126. And so you've got your CEs. This is every 2 years. You've got your CEs, which really can vary depending on how you want to complete them. But I would say maybe around like $150 to $200. And then you have to renew your license every 2 years as well, which is about $75. And then you've got your every year realtor fees. So something to keep in mind. Also with designations, depending on what designations you have to renew those as well. I'm not 100% sure on how much those cost and if it's every year or is it every 2 years.
Every year you renew your designations, so that's a fee as well, and it's so that you can put a little thing next to your name that is like, hey, I do this too, because you also did learn about it as well. So it is like a specialty.
Specialization.
So yeah, people do vacation homes, senior living, green. Green is one of them that I'm involved with. There's ABR, which is accredited buyer's agent. There's different listings, specialties. So yeah, a lot of us are very motivated to keep continuing our education and serving our clients as best as possible. So
yeah. So we already did kind of a calculation on your split, but let's do like after your split and after your taxes kind of example, because like this is what I go through like every time I get a check. Like, you know, you've got your split, which it's already taken out when you get your check. But then you are the one who has to take out for your taxes most of the time. So I guess we could use our 4,000 example again, and we'll say that we have a split of 70-30. And so that comes to about $2,800. Personally, I set aside like 20%, like 20 to 25%, I would say, for taxes.
yeah,
And then I'm
depends
checking
what tax bracket you'll be in that
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, so then I'm checking in like with my expenses and I'm seeing where I'm at, because it's your income minus your deductions is your taxable income. And so I kind of go based upon that to see where I'm at with everything, but typically I want to say it's like 20 to like 28% even is usually like what most people set aside. You just have to find out what works for you. So let's just say that we're setting 25% aside for that. So really, after you get your $4,000 is your gross, and then you split it with your brokerage, and then you have to save for taxes as well. That $4,000 turns into $2,100. So don't count your chickens before they hatch, kind of thing. I guess you have to be aware of all of that.
So if you're doing one transaction a month, that's $2,100 a month. You make $25,200.
Right. And your purchase price always changes. If you're doing relocations, they take a chunk of your money as well. If you're on a team, they take a chunk of your money. So you just have to know what you're in for and plan and prepare for that.
Mm-hmm. So one transaction a month as a buyer's agent will get you about 25 grand. On average, these are very, very, very like...
Yeah, if you're watching this in 10 years, things have changed. I think it would be fun to talk about how much money we made in our first year of real estate. I know you kind of had to look back at
Mine's
things. Weird. But yeah, I calculated mine out from like the full year. Like I started in April, and this is before taxes, but after split. So it was $14,913.
Your first year.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that is correct.
Cool.
And that is commissions only. It can vary, obviously. I really would not like put my faith in like, I heard this on YouTube, or I heard this from somebody that, you could make this much money in your first year of real estate. It depends. Like, I feel like it depends on you, your personality, your sphere, how hard you're willing to work, and like even what state you're in, and like what area you live in, like what homes are going for.
Your support system at your brokerage makes a huge difference.
For sure. Your training, everything like that. It really makes a difference. But Yeah, that was commissions only, and then I also do like social media freelance work on the side. So I always recommend having something on the side, but something that's flexible when you're first starting, because I did start part-time working 8 hours a day up in Green Bay as a graphic designer, and it was really hard to, you know, respond to my clients while I was at work. I couldn't really take phone calls or anything like that. And so doing freelance social media work for a real estate company has been just like life-changing, and that has given me a lot of extra income as well. So just one recommendation that I have, what do you think maybe is like one of the biggest takeaways, or one of your biggest realizations about money and how much you actually make as a real estate agent?
Well, number one, it's always feast or famine. So either you're making check after check after check, or literally months with no money at all. So you just need to make sure that you do have money set aside for those slow winter times. And also, the biggest thing I think is I spent like half my career so far working for other people when I could be just focusing on my own career. I crunched the numbers, and even though I thought I needed the support of supplementary admin income for teams, I would have made more money had I just been a single agent. So with the different commission splits and whatnot, and probably less work. So I spent a few years learning my biggest takeaway of just be on my own and do my best thing and work for myself.
I think it's hard either way, like starting on a team or starting by yourself. Like, it's a completely new career, and it's definitely not going to be easy. But I think that was one of the biggest things that you told me when I was asking you questions, was to just go for it on your own and start as a solo agent. And honestly, I think that that is the way to go for building your business and trying not to rely on other people. And it really gives you like the freedom to do whatever you want with your business. And I really like that part of things. So I guess that's all we have for how much you actually make in real estate. So as always, if you have any questions, you can email me at marissa@thinkhallmark.com or find me on social media. But until next time, see ya.